Alright guys, today we're going to read chapter 8 and then we're going to do some some work on sequencing, which is putting events in order. Okay? So, here we have chapter 8, Love and Fear. Early in 1944, Anne found someone else to talk to. It was Peter. He was 17 now. Anne began to look at him often. She thought that he was also looking at her in a new way. Peter was shy, but Anne found ways to be around him. She wrote in Kitty, "Yesterday I found a way to stay in his room and get him to talk to me. He was sitting at his little table doing a crossword puzzle. I sat across from him on the couch so that I could look at him. It was strange. I looked in his deep blue eyes and saw how shy I made him feel." In February, she wrote, "The weather is nice again today. I feel much better. This morning I went up to the attic again with Peter. He was putting things away. I sat on the floor in a place that I like. He stopped working and stood near me. We looked up through the window at the blue, blue sky. The big tree outside is still bare, but the branches sparkled with drops of water. The seagulls flew around like silver in the sun. Fresh air came in. We breathed and looked out. We both felt magic." Slowly, Anne got Peter to talk to her. As she got to know him better, she felt she was changing on the inside. On the outside, she still acted like a happy, noisy girl. But on the inside, she was becoming wiser and more serious. Anne did not tell anyone about her wiser and more serious side. She wrote, "I am still only 14, but I know what I want. I have my own ideas. I have my own sense of the world." One night in March, Anne and Peter were alone again in the attic. Anne wrote about what happened. "He stood on the left side of the open window. I stood on the right side, and we talked. It was easier to talk in the dark by the open window than to talk where there was light. We told each other so very much. It was the most wonderful night that I had in our hideout." A few days later, Anne and Peter sat on the couch alone in Peter's room. "I don't know how I made the right move, but all of a sudden he kissed me. It was quick. He kissed right through my hair. His kiss was half on my cheek and half on my ear. I ran downstairs without looking back. I am so happy for each new day." The grown-ups saw what was going on. They made small jokes about it. Finally, Anne told her father that she loved Peter. Her father told her not to be alone with Peter, but Anne could not agree. She wrote to Kitty, "I like being with Peter. I must show him that I trust him. If I stay down here by myself, it will look like I don't trust him. No, I'm going to keep seeing him." You can see here, there's Anne and her family and Peter. Okay. It is so peaceful to lie in Peter's arms and dream. But Anne and Peter could never forget the danger that was all around them. One night, she wrote, "We heard more noise downstairs. We stayed so still that I could hear everyone in our hideout breathing. People were walking around below us in the office. We heard them coming up the stairs. Someone shook the bookshelves that hide our secret door. That hides our secret door. Someone shook the bookshelves. A can fell off the shelves. I thought, now we are going to die. Then there were more sounds. They were going downstairs. I could hear someone's teeth chattering near me. Soon the building was quiet again. Anne felt like she was going crazy. How much longer could they go on hiding?" Hey guys, it's Mr. Ald here, and we just finished up the chapter 8, and it's getting really good. And I want to take the time to kind of talk to you guys about a more serious subject, and that is that your bodies are changing, and that sometimes you might feel like how Anne was feeling. Okay, Anne was feeling that she loved a boy that she didn't really know a lot, and we see a lot of this across different literature. We read Romeo and Juliet a couple years ago, and it was the same thing. Very young people going through changes with their bodies, thought that they loved each other right away. Love takes a lot of time. It's a very serious thing, okay? You love your parents because you're there for each other, you've known each other, you trust each other, okay? Love takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of responsibility. So I just wanted to talk to you guys about, as your young bodies are growing into teenagers, you're in high school, you might have different feelings for different people, and that's normal, okay? But just knowing to temper those feelings and kind of don't let it distract you from any of your other goals. Because I know you guys have great goals to become detectives, to become great things in your life, and you shouldn't let those feelings get in the way of your life, okay? But I just wanted to tell you guys it's completely normal. Everyone goes through it when they're in those teenage years. And the more mature you are, the more mature you can handle it, the better you can still focus on your goals and what's going on in your life around you. Okay? Because you have plenty of time for all that stuff. Believe me, trust me. Okay? Alright, guys, miss you guys, and let's get on over to that sequence of events. Sequence of events. Okay? Sequence of events worksheet. So, a sequence of events is in the order of how things happen. So here we have days of the week, and we all know that there's a certain order that these days of the week go in, okay? So if we were going to order them from 1 to 5, 1 being the first day that happens, 5 being the last, okay? We would start with Monday, right? Monday would be number 1, okay, because that happens first. Okay, then after Monday becomes Tuesday, so that is 2. Okay, Wednesday is 3. Thursday is 4, and Friday is 5. And that is the natural order, the sequence that the days happen. Okay? Alright? So if we were reporting them in order from 1 to 5, it would be 4, 1, 5, 3, 2. Okay? Alright. Now, we're going to do the same thing there, but we're going to do it with events that happened in this chapter. Okay? So we're going to put these events in order. The grown-ups make jokes about Anne and Peter. Anne felt that she was becoming wiser and more serious. Peter kissed Anne. Anne wrote to Kitty about Peter. Anne and the others heard noises downstairs. Anne wrote to Kitty about Peter. Okay, so she writes twice about Peter. Okay, but I think one thing, sometimes we focus on what happens first. I think what we can focus really is what happens last. We can all agree the last thing that happens, this is all Peter and Anne stuff, right? But at the very end, she hears noises downstairs. So we'll make that the last one. That's 6. Okay? Alright, so we know that one's 6. Now, if we go back here, if we go back to the beginning of this chapter, okay, we're looking for what happens first. Does she become more wise and serious? Does Peter kiss her? Does she write in Kitty about Peter? Or do the grown-ups make jokes about Anne and Peter? Okay, let's see. Alright. We see this is chapter 8. Someone else to talk to. It was Peter. And she found a way to write about him. So I think the first thing that happens is that she writes about Peter. She's writing about Peter saying, I kind of just like being around Peter right now. I don't know why, but I like being around Peter. So we'll say that this is 1, okay? She wrote to Kitty about Peter. All right. And then as she keeps going, you'll see that she's still writing about him, okay? Starting to talk to each other. And then she says on the outside she was still a happy, noisy girl, but on the inside becoming wiser and serious. So I would say that's 2. Okay, so after she writes about him and starts to spend some time with Peter, she becomes wiser and more serious. And we'll talk about this wiser, okay, because she thinks she might be wiser and more adult, but right now she has a very developing mind. So attaching herself to someone that closely and saying I love you so quickly, that's not always the wisest thing. Okay? Alright, so we've got 1, 2, and let's see what happens after they become... she becomes wise and serious. Let's see. Okay, 14. They were standing by the window. Okay. Told each other so very much. They're talking to each other a lot. And he kisses her. Okay, so just a little peck on the cheek, right? Half on her ear. Okay, Peter kisses her. That is 3. All right. And let's see what happens next. Okay, ran downstairs. Grown-ups saw what was going on. They made small jokes. So the grown-ups are making jokes. Saying, oh, look at the lovebirds. Okay, so that is 4. Okay, and then the next one would have to be 5 because it's the only one left. Okay, so she writes about, and you'll see down here, I like being with Peter, must show him that I trust him. She writes about him again after all this happens. Okay, so events in order, what happens first? Anne writes to Kitty about Peter. I'm starting to like just being around Peter. 2, she starts to be wise and serious. She's starting to change the way she thinks, and that happens with teenagers. 3, Peter kisses her on the cheek. Okay, 4, the grown-ups make jokes about them. 5, she writes to Kitty about Peter again, saying she still wants to see him. And then the last thing is Anne and the others heard noises downstairs. So you can see we put these events in order from when they first happen to the last thing that happens. Okay, and that is called the sequence. Go ahead and say that word with me. Sequence. All right, now go ahead and say it in a real deep voice. Sequence. Okay, now I want you to sing it like a pop star. Sequence. Okay, great job, great job. All right, now I want you to whisper it. Sequence. Okay, sometimes saying a word over and over again, they've actually done studies that you need to use a word 7 times before you really know it. Okay, and it can be more for different words. Okay, so sequence. Sequence of events is the order of events. Great job, guys. Hey guys, it's Mr. Alt. Did you enjoy that video? You finished your work for the day and wish there was just something else you could do? Our Microsoft Teams page, available on your computer or on your phone or tablet. And come to the left and click Enrichment Opportunities, and there's lots of extra things here for acting, art, science, history. You'll see our Jeopardy games. Lots of fun stuff to do if you finished your work for the day. It's extra, so it's not mandatory, but it is there for you. Okay? Enrichment Opportunities under Mr. Alt's class. Have a good one!